And I'm back for the weekly recap. It's AK47 over at Deckmar Trades via Tradecaster.com. Josh Smith Official, Prime Trading here on Instagram. And it's actually Tuesday, November the 2nd today. And let's recap because it has just been super busy. Wasn't able to get to the recap. And we know what started all. Well, really, it was HX. But what really was the monster starter of it all was DWAC DWAC. Because we saw this crazy run. If you go back and do my last week's recap, this is the one I went over. DWAC ran. And it's kind of, if you can just see it's leveled off. You can see the price now. It's back in the 60s now. It's kind of 70s, but now it's kind of fallen off a little bit more. PHUN, this really didn't do much at all since then. But you can see here, where PHUN was the other crazy runner that went from essentially gapping up from 150 and hit 24 the next day. Of course, doing the same thing where it's giving back. Now it's really giving back a lot of its gains back to 360. Now let's get into last week. And of course, last week, if you remember, if you probably went back and did some of my, if you watched last week's recap, this hasn't quite run yet. BKKT did not think, if you go back and watch it, I don't think I'd quite seen it run to $60 yet in after hours, right? And so it was one of the ones last week. And now we have a few, and I mean a few stocks to go over. One of the first things I want to bring up, of course, is, and a lot of these, we'll see if each one is building a flag. I know it seems like if another one might be doing this, but I'm going to go through 3 different alerts. One Monday, it was this Monday, as in yesterday we saw one. This was Monday before last. This is Monday. See, this is the 25th. You're going to see 3 times this has happened where we get a gap up with a fill at the open that turns into a U shape, break above the open, hold that, or I should say, break above the open area plus that pre-market resistance. And when you can hold above that, as you can see, when we come U-shaping and flying above that and hold it, and there's our last opportunity, look what happens with the 3 plays I'm about to show you. And so there's a lot, and I missed most of this. I got out of chat. I forgot where I traded this somewhere early on, thinking, okay, cool, it's Monday. I tried to tell you, Thursday and Friday was a craziness. Monday we'd see some fun. I told you, here's the fun. I'm not going to, I had stuff to do. So this stayed in this wedge for the longest time, right? We remember DWAC it went up and further faster. This took a little while. Then all of a sudden I come back in chat and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Here we go. And so that's what I'm alerting traders here in chat right here in the essentially in power. I'm like, team, remember what happened last time we saw a stock do this? Now it's not going as hard as DWAC, but don't be surprised. And so I'll leave, come back, and then sure enough, I miss more, miss another. Look at this long wedge, team, another long, beautiful wedge and flag that breaks out. And then finally my alerts come dropping in here in after hours, and I'm like, okay, I got to get a part of this. I'm not missing any more of this. And so I guess I didn't get my first target in, but it hit $40. That was my first target. I guess I couldn't go back far enough, but $40 was my first target. And I said, hey, this starts moving over 30 and over 35 in after hours. Essentially, what I was saying, as you can see right here, here's the first alert. 30 after $35, next main target is $40, and of course in 50. That's how these move. When you have all day runners, they go from 35. When they get over 35, 40 of course is next. It's every $5, but really when it gets over 40, 50 is a magnet. I mean, I know it's 45 will run into some resistance, but I'll kind of zoom out just a tad bit more here so we can really see some movement here in after hours and when my alerts were going off. This is 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Now, this is a copy and paste because this is an hour later. This is an hour after the market closes. The market closes at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. So 10 minutes after the market closed, I alerted $35 was the main target. So 10 minutes after, right here, essentially 10 minutes after. So we can see 10 minutes after. So right here, essentially, so we can see the price too. But 10 minutes after, the price was right around where? Right here, about $33-ish. You can see it hadn't gone up to 35 yet. And then instantly, boom, it's hitting the target. It's running on through the target. So there's target 1. Right as it's hitting, that was literally, I'm alerting it right as it hit, right? And so $40 hit $40 target 1. I shouldn't say target 1, that's actually target 2. And I guess here's the reason why maybe I alerted that after $35. So this was I'm alerting this. I'm guessing while this is because I know $35 is about to hit. You can see if I zoom in there, this is essentially about to hit $35. So after $35, next main target is 40. And so, as you can see, almost ran straight up to hit 40, as you can see. Took a little bit of time, came down here and almost bounced off this resistance. Old resistance equals new support. And then you can see eventually did hit $40 target. So, boom, 10 after, so an hour later, so at 4:10, which would be about right here-ish, come back in chat and see that essentially it was hit. Boom, it hit the target. You can see the high there was hitting right at $40. Hit $39.67, $39.88. Essentially, it was hitting it. Then eventually did hit it. And you can see it continue to run up. And there you go. And then and maybe it was. Maybe at this time I just finished the weekly recap, so you get my point. I know we can go back. You can look at how far BKKT ran, and so you can see. There we go. So let's get rid of that alert. Let's get through some more of these alerts here. As you can see, alerts at 2 hours after. So 2 hours afterwards. Let's go about a 5:23 my time. So that's 3. This was 4. So 5:23. Look how high up it's $50, and all my targets are getting hit. So at 5:23 my time, this would be 5:23 my time right here. Look where that's hitting up when this is spiking up. It's spiking up, and I'm just like, wow, there it goes. Every one of my targets hit. Boom. 2 hours later, all targets are hit. And that's what I was saying. Call it last week with HX starting to party. BKK said it was like DWAC could start moving like it. And then there's just some more of my luck. I didn't get to 75, but here's what I'm. Then essentially was saying the same thing with that. Saying like, hey, BKKT. That like just kind of alerting what can happen, where this can move up to. Alert was working out so far. Okay, let's get to the next morning here. So that was let's get to the next morning though. So BKKT, get out to the next morning. Didn't completely gap up, right? Hit 57. I knew it hit higher in after hours. Hit 57 in after hours. Then in pre-market hit about 54. So it was really topping out in that 50s, showing hey, that's some strength. We weren't able ever to stay above the $50 area. And so. Let's see here, getting into the next morning here. I think that's going to be it for BKKT. 1026, here we go. WBX is another one we got into. This is when we started seeing a lot of failing and a lot of pullbacks. So BKKT, let's see here, working out so far, of course, was the shorts going on this way. Of course, 28 area, maybe a dip below. And then, of course, the shorts were taken over. But look, you can see the alert right here. At 2 after, I unfortunately can only scroll back so far, but 2 after, BKKT needs to hold the 28 area, may dip a tad bit below, but for a move back up. And then, boom, hit $28 on the dot, as you can see here. Let's see if I can go back a little bit further here, where to get that bounce. And so $28 right here. See how that 20 at 28? This area, see the upper shadow? That was one of those crazy quick upper shadows here in power hour. And then there's that little block right here that you can see. So there's that quick upper shadow. There's that. And so I just kind of based it down. But that's why I said it may have a lower shadow below it, because I figured, hey, it may even go down. You may see something in the 27s right here. Then we go to pre-market the next morning, or I should say first 10, 20 minutes. What was it? First 10 minutes there. Whammy. Hit it perfectly. And look at the lower shadows. The low was 27.74, 27.6, 27.85, or no, 27.5 from a 27.6 again. So beautiful bounce area. Alerted that 2 minutes after the opening bell when it was halted down right here. I was saying, hey, that's the area it needs to hold. Beautiful bounce back up, and that's the beautiful bounce area right there that we saw from BKKT moving up that morning. Let's see what was the next area, and then that's where it failed, and we knew we couldn't push back above that. Over 35 was key. And, look right here. Over 35 is key for push to VWAP. That was at 44 after. So right here, we haven't quite got there yet. I'm letting everyone know in chat. Right here at 44 after, we're not even at $34 yet. Look what this hit. What was the high here? The high was 35.43. The high was 35.40. So right here, look at that. You can see what the high was right there in that area. And I alerted that a minute beforehand, saying, hey, team, this area is key. That area, scroll back a little bit more right here so you can see, though, super crucial. And then let's go over to WX. That's kind of the end of BKKT. We've seen it run here and there, days afterward. We've seen it run. As you can see, it's now back up into the 30s. It did see a nice little bounce and actually movement back up, as you can see over the past few days here. And really, some days it's been a little bit bigger than others. But BKT, my point being, look at the movement we've had. Look how much we've seen this stock continue to run. And this is, like I said, back to now back to Tuesday again here, when we were seeing a lot of failing. WBX, another one. I didn't catch this halt down. I wanted to, but this was one of the ones I think I caught RDBX, and that's another crazy short we're about to look into. But look at this, another one. This is where I saw this a lot happening at the open. We were getting the flag, but not the U-shape to fail, and everything's dumping off. So WBX, and you can see here, let's get into it, kind of scrolling just a little bit here, just a little bit more there. 21.5 area. That was a 21.5 area, was definitely, and you can see right here, look at this halted down right below it. And that's what I was saying. 21.5 is the support area, kind of getting it from, kind of right in this area. The 25, and then all the way down here, the 25 area. So 21.5 and 20, and you can see where it bounced right off the 21.5 area right there. And it just cracked right through that and halted down, and that was essentially the area it could never really regain. As you can see, it tried to get back above it, couldn't do it. Here's my play from last Tuesday, RDBX, besides going short, or I should say going long on the $28 bounce from BKKT, was the same thing. Look what we just saw, the same thing. We just saw this from WBX, and I'm like, boom, here, RDBX, this is the same thing. And I was like, here, I'm come over to learn to it. See if this can actually hold its spike now. 28.5 is the key. I'm saying fail. I'm seeing fail. Same thing. I'm saying fail. Like I'm betting it's about to fail. And look, you can see what I'm getting it from here in pre-market. The spike up, the 28.5 area. Look at that. Got about $1.50, a little bit below it, about $1, a little $1.20, whatever. Same thing though. I saw that when it come flying up. I was like, oh, baby, come on back down now. And then we can get into some of these RDBX alerts. And whammy, geez, fell all day, fell so far all day. About to load up shorts. And so right there, I've already got some shorts going on, but I'm loading. Anywhere I can look, I'm loading up. And someone asks, which ones, which one? I'm like, all things penny, laugh out loud. We were, to get my point. And I'll show you LIDR kind of doing the same thing. We'll get back into that in a minute here. That was another one that was kind of spiking and falling. But 59.9 after, I thought maybe I got alert in here. Here we go. There's the alert. There it is. I was like, where is it at? 55 after. So you can see it 55 after, which is right here. So it's halted down. It's still halted down. And I'm already saying crack of VWAP headed south to $22 area for short. Fell. Let's see. That was RDBX. And where is it at? RDBX watching for another short opportunity as alerted. And so that's what I'm looking for. Crack of the VWAP headed south to $22 for short. So crack of the VWAP, it's headed to $22. And you can see where 22 is. I'll kind of move this down and out of the way. This area right here, this little sandwich, I can go back to pre-mark. Same thing. I don't have to keep showing you. You just know when I say 22, I promise you team, 22 is the area. And so I wanted the open crack of the VWAP down to the 22. That was my short. This thing opened up. And so I'm letting traders know, already on top of the fact, of course, because I don't know when and where it's going to open up, but I'm letting traders know I'm watching for another short opportunity as alerted. So let's get over to it right here. Where are we at? Oh, that was this one. Boom. And so RDBX, that was the next one. So at 59 after, I'll let traders know as soon as that was live. Of course, it went right into a halt. And here's what I was thinking. The fact that it went straight through 22, right? I wanted it from here to 22. This was the next supporter, so that's my lockup zone for it to bounce. The fact that it opened below that led me to believe what? You're open below it, so now you're below another support line. So I unfortunately, because of the gap down, unfortunately, it's like this never existed. This short, unfortunately, was never possible. And so, you know what? That's the next best thing. I know the crack of this area, this 22, it's down for another halt. And so, boom, that's why I was trying to let traders in ASAP. Boom, short, and then, of course, I was in. And so I was letting traders know immediately to get in that area and where to essentially kind of maybe start locking up at. And so that's exactly what I was looking for on RDBX. And then I scaled out because I was in immediately. As soon as this opened up and my entry wasn't that great, it was somewhere in between here in the upper 21, the mid, I'd say mid 21s because it opened up and I immediately kind of pressed the trigger. Spread was big, but I immediately scaled out in here. And I think that my last 100 shares, I wanted the 1875 crack, and I finally got it right here. Big red candle, 1875 crack, scaled out somewhere in I think it was really in the low 18s, and it wasn't many shares left at that point in time, but but look where it kept going. I should have known. I should have known that day that it was going to continue to go down and go down and go down and go down. And so you can see it's not that it's gone that much further down, but it went down. Well, to that day it went down further. Imagine holding down for another $3, $4, $5 more dollars. So I should have held a tad bit longer. Get into, let's see, like LIDR. That was another one last week. It did end up running a little bit. Let's see, get back to it real quick. There we go, LIDR. There you go. You can see here, though, LIDR, same kind of thing. Everything's fallen over. Has to hold VWAP. Like earlier on when it kind of breaks the VWAP, has to hold the VWAP. Has to hold the VWAP. Perfect short opportunity. VWAP crack, boom, and it shorts down, boom, it's done the rest of the day. It's just kind of we got into that mode on Tuesday. That was the one where Tuesday it got sketchy. You had to watch out what you're doing. You saw everything else failing. Everything else was falling over. There really wasn't a lot of things that held up. I mean, I just showed you so many stocks that started to fail. Now we can get into these where I kind of didn't get in because I thought, okay, cool, we're going to start seeing stocks fail left and right. Let's get into some of these other runners that we saw last week. Some of them held their gains too, which is crazy and I did not expect that to happen. This was a kind of mid-candle breakout fun that we had on Thursday when I went live for DEC. You saw this go from about 370 up to 640. But here's the main thing. Go back to the first day. Look what we saw. This was on Tuesday as well. So this was the one Tuesday This was the other one on Tuesday that I left. See, I'm done alerting. I'm done trading. This halted up. It failed. See, right? And boom, it did this. I'm done. I'm like, okay, I've left chat somewhere in here. It holds this trend line, and since it's still hot, traders come back in and look at this run all the way to 950. We had SYTA. Here's another one. SYTA. Look at this stock. Here's this one. This was Wednesday's kind of all-day runner that held its gains till about the very end. And then this is when I noticed, okay, we're starting to get to that fail again. We got to be very careful holding up. And then Thursday, Friday, Thursday was just crazy. It was a roundabout day. We went all over the place, but we saw a lot of failing. And that's what showed me, okay, Thursday, we need to be careful because this was Wednesday, right? We saw IINN go all day long after all those stocks failed. I just show you, Tuesday fell, starting to get in that fell mode. Be careful. Everything's spiking, giving back. Now we have SYT, IINN, SYTA kind of hold its gains. Let's see what else was there. And this kind of led me into the next day. DBGI. Oh, AGRI. Yeah, AGRI. This is the other one team. I can't forget about AGRI. This was the other one. As you can see. Try to look at this big spike on Wednesday, but look at the fail later on in the day. And so that's what led me to go, okay, Friday, or Wednesday, I should say Thursday, when I was telling everyone when I went live for deck, we have to be careful. And so let's get into some of these stocks on Thursday. And you can see DBG, and there's just too many stocks because now we're looking at DWAC. We're looking at PHUN to spike with it, BKKT, IINN. We're looking at all these, just so many plays. So look, here we go. Look at DBGI. Let's show you another one. HWCB. Look at HWCB. Look what it does. Or is it H? Maybe it's HB. H. Oh, is it not HWCB? HCWB? HCWB. Maybe it's HCWB. I think it's HCWB. Yes, HCWB. Same thing. You can see, look, nice spike from the morning from 320 up to 875. It's a $5 spike. Squeezing all day long. Someone holding its gains. Doesn't do too much. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. It then cracks off at the end of the day. So there's HCWB. That was the other one. Then IFRX was the other one on Thursday that we were going over. Look what this does on Thursday. Same thing. Let's go back to it. It actually held its gains midway through the day. We're like, oh, geez, here we go. It actually is coming back up. Here we go. And then it flutters and falls off and kind of just falls back. You can see. We got to be careful there. BIMI. Here was another one. This one, actually, my bad. This was on, this one may have been Tuesday. This past week when things were still holding its gains. See, Tuesday was the last day when stocks were holding their gains, and this weird, wacky mover. Look how many halts. This team had so many halts. Look how many halts there are through here. So many halts. I don't want to go through and try to count them all. It just got, then it started doing up here. And it was just such a weird mover until the next day, you're like, no, I'm done with that. You can see that's back down to 70 cents now. And so that's what showed me, because remember, IINN did the same thing. Held its gains all day, came back to nothing. We did see a mid-candle breakout from IINN and a little bit of BIMI, as you can see on Thursday, those mid-candle breakout forms. And I can show you what we were talking about mid-candle breakout. First day spike, come down middle way through the first day spike, and you're going to spike the next day. It's usually the third day is usually when you get that spike. So see IIN, you get the spike the first day, come down. These went a little bit lower than what we like, but see, look at the fun on the third day. So fun first day, red second day, fun third day. That's how that usually works out. But you can kind of see end of that day, things weren't holding their gains anymore. Wednesday, stuff was spiking, but then really giving back gains at the end of the day. And then Thursday, spike up, come right back on down, which led to Friday was all over the place. And then end of the day, look at ABVC. Same thing or I should say yesterday, Monday. Look at this. Look at AB. Of course, past chart history, but look what it did Monday morning in pre-market. Let's just go back to this real quick so you can see what it did yesterday in pre-market. Spiked all the way from $3 to $26 and right back on down. Is that not nuts? And then yesterday's all-day runner. Now we get into this. Remember the BKKT, the U-shape? Let's get back into yesterday's team. Same thing. Look at the U-shape at the open. Here, I'm going to get rid of this trend line. Here, remove the trend line. But look how the U-shape. See, we had the spike up, fell at the open. We have a U-shape past the open area and some of this pre-market resistance, although it was all over the place, all the way up to 29. So a monster mover from BTTX. And of course, if it would have held a little bit more of its gains, we could have looked at it tomorrow as being a mid-candle breakout. But you can see it's all the way back below where it even spiked from yesterday. But that crazy mover, oh, team, let's get into today's movers now. Now, again, here's the flag, just like BTT. I'll show you BKKT from last week. Same thing. Spike right before the bell, forms a flag, U-shapes back to the open resistance area and the pre-market resistance. This area, it's spiking and it's rolling. Took it a little bit to finally get there, and then whammy, and I'll show you why it took a little bit to get there. But OLB with a nice little mover so far today, but kind of like what we're seeing in the middle of last week. The heat's still there, but it's not staying around. But remember this open, take a screenshot of it. Remember, team, this is where you get runners that last for more than an hour or two. And sometimes you get your all-day runners. See this little open just like that with that U-shape? Remember this from last week, BKKT. Take that screenshot. Now take this screenshot real quick. Oh, I messed up there. Sorry. Let's go back to, I got to go back to 10-day here. Sorry, I got to go back. If I'm going to go back, right, I got to go back to, see, look at that. Hold on, right here. Here it was. Not too far. Sorry, team. It was right there. But there. See the spike at the open? Remember the 8 o'clock hour? And this will be easier doing it this way. So BK, and I'll take, or just take a video screenshot. BKT. Spike in the 8 o'clock hour, forming the flag, U-shape, back up above the open and pre-market resistance. Watch the run we get. Whammy. Okay. See that? Boom, boom, right there. And now look at, of course, now we can go back to today's runner, doing the exact same thing right here. Get in today's chart. Look at that. Look at that. Does that not look very similar? It happens happened a little too quick, though. A little too quick. And then we didn't get as much out of it. And here's why. Let me just show you, team. Let me show you why. Let me show you the crazy mover. Look at the crazy mover. CAR. C-A-R-A. CAR. If you remember that movie from, I think it's, what is that movie called? Vince Vaughn. Anyway, be cool. Look at the run today from CAR. This is from Avis. Avis, yes, the rental car company. Q3 earnings come out, go from 176 the area at the what was the open, like 170ish or so, up to 554. Are you kidding me? And here's what's so funny. And I was calling it. I've been waiting for it. I'm sure this will most definitely get a bounce. And then Thinkorswim has easy to borrow. It's easy to borrow, ETB. I'm like, I got to get some of these. And so literally, I'm looking for a quick short, a super quick short, super small share size, laugh out loud. Thinkorswim is, I'm getting ready. I am getting ready. It's 9 after. At 10:10, I'm out. As soon as it came live, I was, or I should say 10:10. I don't know why 10:10. I guess because I don't know why these are timestamps, super weird. But I was in right here. I don't know why. I guess because it happened at the same time. Oh, because it came live at 10:09. Duh. So this was right before it came live. I'm like, what's wrong here at the timestamp? You can see it came live at 10:09. It's halted down here, and that's my first alerts weren't till that was obviously I think it was when it was halted down right here, and it came live right at 10:09. So we're waiting for 10:09. So at before 10:09 comes, at 10:09 and like say 47 seconds. So 10:08 and 38 seconds, I'm like writing this. 10:09 and 3 seconds. Right here at the beginning of 10:09, I'm saying I'm letting people know right. Point being, right before it goes live. If you were in chat, you probably remember. Right before this went live, I'm saying traders, I am going to get short on this. I am telling you, I'm looking for a super quick short, small series size, but I know this is going to dump more, especially with the crack of that 480 area is what I was thinking. This right here came live, kind of spiked back up to 500, and then I just market ordered in. That's why I let traders know I was in short. And boom, you can see that I was in there. 430 here. I'll show you. Then I'll show you this. Look at the areas that I'm looking to cover at. Oh, I didn't take it. Was 430 and 430 and 400. This came down right through 430, which was great. Right to 400, bounced up, and I was out right here. These candles right here at the bottom, because it opened up. See, it closed down here, opened up, and before it started spiking back up to 440. And I thought I was going to go grind back up. And that was that big bounce. I was told you that we would see a bounce out of this. And we saw a $40 bounce, essentially, short-lived. And I should have held longer again, too. But I got in for a quick little short there just because they were free shorts. I mean, quick little short right there. So crazy momentum. So that's what we've seen in the past week. Now, kind of the breather, recapped everything we've just seen. Now moving forward, the heat's still there. It's still here, obviously, big time. I don't think we're going to see. We'll see somewhat of a cool down. But this because I'll tell you, it was cool there it's been really relatively cooler overall this year, more so than hot. Last year, 2020 was a reason for that. 2020 was super duper, flooper, crooper, crazy hot. Now, this year hasn't been as hot, and there's a reason for that. It started off hot, too, is another reason, because GameStop and all that stuff, and it was hot for a while. Then it finally started slowing off. And then we've seen spikes here and there. Of course, June was hot again this year, which was crazy. Into early July, it was still relatively hot for about a 4-week period from, mid-June to mid-June to mid-July. And it's been relatively slow since then. I mean, we've seen spikes here and there, but it's been slow. I'll tell you, it's been relatively slow until now. And so now maybe that's why. And that's why the traders are ready to rock and roll. They've been around. It's been here for about 10 days now, or whenever the first spike was from DWAC. HX kind of let it off, almost 2 weeks ago now. But 2 weeks this Thursday will be when DWAC started its run, and then that Friday is when it went to 175, and that's what started the craze. And even a reason like this, why CAR car went as crazy as it did today. I mean, we're seeing a stock go bananas and halt up and down that, never did this before. I mean, I'll go to past chart history and you can usually show you. Look at this. Imagine like literally just a few months ago, imagine back, or a few months ago, a year ago, you're well below $50, even if I said this earlier this year. And now look at this thing today if you were holding long term. So, of course, not many would be doing that, but just for example. My point being, I think we're still going to see spikes. I think we may see a small little lull like I keep talking about, and we've kind of seen it here and there, a couple of days here and there. But again, don't be surprised if we see essentially continuation. It's been slower, so this may just continue to say how we'll see some lulls here and there. But I'm thinking now if this continues up the way it has been, we may just see crazy heat for the rest of this month into December and into the new year essentially. So AK-47 signing off. Join me live over on my website. Hit me up. Do the great sessions. Have so many members in chat that are doing those. It's primetradinginvestments.com. That's primetradinginvestments.com. Of course, I go live over at tradecaster.com. Every Friday I go live for deck. Sometimes I'll jump on during the mic. Now that I have my own lobby, so I'll go live sometimes during the lunch hours as well. And eventually we'll go live all day long like deck. AK-47 though, signing off. I want to do a little recap. I know I had lots to go over right there. But yeah, like I said, don't forget the heat's coming. Or should the heat's staying? It's not. I don't think it's going anywhere. Is my point. Like I said, I thought it might kind of go back and forth. Those like lulls, like kind of like a wave, like whoosh, wave. Okay, now it's kind of the wave, and now whoosh, wave. And I don't know we're getting wave after wave. The waves are coming in real fast, nonstop. So it may stay that way. But yeah, catch me live over in chat. Get a session over on our website. See you guys soon. Oh yeah, hit that like button, smash that like button, and follow if you aren't doing that.